And my worry in a way is that Canadians will miss out in participating as partners in the opportunities that are going to arise in Africa.
Welcome to Africanada Stream, your portal to the heart of transformative Canada-Africa economics. Today, we invite you to step inside the dynamic world of Africa Accelerating 2023, a three-day program organized by the Canada-Africa Chamber of Business. This event brings together visionary business leaders and strategic thinkers in the field of energy, infrastructure, natural resources, financing, and education. Among our esteemed guests are Canada's Trade and Export Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and official business delegation hailing from Kenya and the DRC. Our journey starts with the event centered on the theme, Accelerating Canada-Africa Trade and Investment, People, Partnership, and Policies. My name is William Muyuku. And now, we are still here at the forum, and we have a special guest with us. Can you please present yourself to our viewers, for those who doesn't know you?
Okay, of course. My name is Greg Goldhawk. I'm a retired Canadian diplomat. Most of my career was in commercial diplomacy around the world and in various roles around the world. I spent most of my working career in Asia. My final posting was in Johannesburg, South Africa. And once I was exposed to Africa, I was thinking I should have spent less time in Asia and more time in Africa, honestly. I now run my own small consulting firm. I consult to governments and business on a wide range of government-business relationship issues, primarily in the mining industry.
And as we know here, we are dealing with really mining industry. But before we come to that, I would like to know, how was your experience in South Africa?
Well, I came to really enjoy my experience in Africa very, very much. As I say, I kind of wish I'd spent more time in my career, which was 36 years long. I'd spent more time in Africa and a little bit less time in Asia maybe or something, because I'll be honest with you, I think Africa is where everything is going to happen in the next century, honestly. It's where all of our biggest opportunities.
What makes you think that everything is going to happen in Africa in the next century?
Well, it's sort of, I'm drawing on my experience over a 36-year career in economic diplomacy, I guess you'd say. Back in the 1990s, Canadians were very excited, still excited, I suppose, but very excited about the opportunities that would present in Asia. And we invested a lot of energy, both governmentally and in the private sector, in seeking out those opportunities in Asia. I can see the same kinds of opportunities arising out of Africa at this moment. And my worry, in a way, is that Canadians will miss out in participating as partners in the opportunities that are going to arise in Africa, an Africa that is growing economically, that is changing in terms of social dynamics, demography, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what really incites my interest in being here at this conference now, is to learn more about what some of those opportunities will be. Yeah.
Today, the third day, which is also the last day of this conference. You participated for the other 2 days?
I did.
Yeah, and up to now, what can you say, according to what you heard, as a person who is in the consulting, how can you put the trade and investment relation today between Canada and Africa? How can you situate it?
My sense of it is that it is one of strong, unrealized potential, maybe with emphasis on the word unrealized, because I think that one of the aspects that marks the relationship between Canada and Africa now in a commercial sense is a lack of knowledge by many Canadian companies and entrepreneurs in the opportunities that will arise in Africa. My sense is that many Canadian companies, they're just unaware of it. And I think that's why conferences like this one have so much value, because they do a lot to sort of promote to Canadian entrepreneurs, to Canadian business, just how important this economic relationship is going to be over the next century. I think that's very important.
Yeah, can we say that Africans are not really selling Africa to Canadians that much?
I think, as they say, there's an expression that the escalator goes in both directions, And I think there's sort of a shared responsibility here. It's partly Africans, yes, telling their story, but it's also, I think, incumbent on Canadian governmental agencies and on Canadian business to pay attention to that story. And I think a lot of Canadian companies who have been very focused on the United States or on Asia or on Latin America, they're just not thinking about Africa yet. They kind of see it as having a risk premium that it doesn't deserve, frankly, I think it's very incumbent on Canadian companies to inform themselves about Africa, to listen to the story, because it's a very prospective story, and I just think that's not happening. So there's a good partnership involves two sides talking and listening, and I think the conferences like this allow you that kind of dialogue to happen in an important way.
If you had a last word as a consultant expert and as someone who has been in diplomacy for a long time, if you had a word to tell both sides, Canada and African, for the trade and investment future, what can it be?
Oh, it would be difficult to encapsulate in a single word or even a single sentence. If I had an advice for Canadian companies about where future opportunities will be, my advice would always be look to Africa. If you're not thinking about Africa, you're going to miss the next really big thing, and that you need to do your intelligent due diligence with regard to the opportunities in Africa and how your company's capacities can fit into a remarkable continent and a continent that is going to be really the place where, economic good things are going to happen over the next century. I'm sure of this myself, you know. The same thing might be said for many African companies, Canada is a middle power. You know, we are a member of the OECD, you know, the G7, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think a lot of African companies, when they're thinking of prospects overseas, they're thinking also of Asia. You know, maybe they're not thinking of so much about North America, possibly. And, you know, Canada can be the gateway to North America. You know, it's a more manageable, you know, culturally friendly market in which to establish yourself in a way that you can branch to other parts of North America like the USA. For many Canadian companies, the US is not a foreign market. It's just an extension of the domestic Canadian market. So if you partner with a Canadian company, you already have one foot into the US and beyond in many ways, you know. So I mean, you know, Canada has much to offer our African friends on not just the economic dimension, but on, it's a friendly foreign market, you know. And I think Africa has much also to offer to Canadians who are, you know, forward thinking in terms of, you know, where the real opportunities of the next century will lie. I think that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure, my
Yes.
pleasure. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay, thank you, and you too.
Yeah, thank you.